what I want to do, first off, I want to do a quick little review of the main methods we discussed. And there are many, 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 many more. Sort of like presidential candidates. There are more voting methods than you're aware of. The main ones we discussed. Let's just put the main ones we discussed up here. And then I'm going to have an election occur. You guys are going to be voting on something really a crucial thing. I mean, you'll see. And then we're going to evaluate the vote. We're going to tally the vote in all the different methods. Does that sound exciting, everybody? Thankfully, it's not going to be, lima beans versus cauliflower or something, but we'll see what it comes out to be. All right. Come here. So the main one, of course, is just majority rule, right? Come here, you. Where are you? There you are. Okay. So the main way is majority. When does this way work the best? In fact, I mean, when does it always work the best? That's probably the best way to say this.
When there's only two candidates.
Good. Now, even if there's 80 candidates, when will this way still, well, what does this way mean? The one that gets what?
More than 50%.
Yeah. So the one with greater than 50% wins. Could that still happen even if you had 80 candidates?
Yeah.
Of course it could. Right. So if somebody does get above 50%, then you're like, oh, thank God. All right. That makes everything easy. Nobody can be upset. Okay. Because I don't care if there was a spoiler effect. Somebody got more than 50%. So even if that spoiler never came in, it still wouldn't have made the other person win. Does that make sense? Maybe. All right. So the second way sort of comes off of this. What's the difference between majority and plurality? In plurality, who wins?
The one with most votes?
The one with the most votes. The one with the highest percentage, right? Am I still here? Oh, good. All right. I've got two people to look at, so am I freezing? Okay, there. Okay. You guys are just very still. That's freaking me.
You know what? It does keep freezing. I don't know if it's my connection.
No, it's me. Although my Wi-Fi was beautiful this morning. What has happened? Here, let me double check it real quick. Everybody just hang out for a second. I'm still here. I had the highest speeds this morning. Here I am. I'm back. That was neat. Hey, look at that. Hey, everybody. I don't know what the hell just happened. Oh, shit. It is really, 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 really bad right now. That is so pathetically annoying. Can you guys still hear me?
Yeah.
All right. I was getting 180 megabytes per second this morning. Right now, it's telling me I'm getting 10. Okay, now I'm back up. I don't know. Well, we're just going to have to, holy shit. So I'm getting in between 10 and 180. So that's the excitement of how things are working nowadays. That's fantastic.
Oh, there you are. There you are.
Yeah. I just didn't want to, I had to use my phone. My phone is my webcam. And my phone is also how I check my Wi-Fi. So let's see. Okay, where was I? Is everybody still here? Okay, I think so. Okay.
We were going over plurality. And
yeah, so plurality is highest percent wins. So could somebody theoretically win if they got 8% of the vote? Yes. If enough people were running, 8% might be the highest amount. So right there, does that tell you there could be problems with plurality? Yeah. All right, I like it. Everybody with me so far? So the craziest candidate could win because there are like 5 candidates that this group likes and 5 candidates that this other group likes. So they split all their votes. And then you have the one crazy person that every other crazy person likes. And then they win. Holy shit. Okay. Did we just live through that? Maybe. All right. So then there was these. There's runoff versus sequential runoff. All right, I really want this. Remember runoff? Runoff is just where you eliminate the lowest and then reevaluate. So you eliminate lowest percentage, reevaluate. Sequential runoff would be if you have more than 3 choices. You do the runoff over and over and over until somebody wins. So if you only have 3 choices, the minute you eliminate one of them, you're basically here. So that's why you only have to do it once. Is everybody semi with me?
Yeah.
So you'd have to have more than 3 choices to possibly have to do it more than once. So you eliminate the lowest percentage, and then you go by majority. And if nobody wins, you do it again. That would be sequential runoff if you have more than 3 people. Okay. So if you only have 3 people and you eliminate one person, one of the other people has to have a majority of the votes, right? Unless it's a tie and blah, blah, blah. Okay. How's everybody doing so far? Does this sound familiar? It seems like my Wi-Fi is doing okay even. All right. Then we had the point system. You can do it, Jeff. There you go. Can you write? What are you holding this thing as? Okay. Point system, where traditionally you give 1 point to the lowest and then 2 to the next up and 3 to the next up, right? So if you had 3 choices, it would be 1 point for third place, 2 for second place, third for first place. If you had 8 choices, 1 point for 8th place, and then up. Okay. Does anyone understand that that by itself is sort of arbitrary? Couldn't you give first place 10 points and second place 5 points and third place 1 point? Couldn't some state decide to do that? Do you understand? Wouldn't that possibly change if another state did different points? I don't know if you guys, that's how the math would work out. So it's sort of a little arbitrary with 1, 2, 3 points. Okay, maybe. And then of course, I don't have much room here, but the last one was the pairwise. Remember, not pennywise. Pairwise comparisons, when you just take every pair and see who wins, and whoever wins the most pair offs wins the whole thing. You guys remember that? I know it's been like almost 24 hours since we discussed it, but okay. So hopefully you've taken good notes on this, because now we are going to have a vote. You guys are going to vote, right? If this was like a true vote of who's going to set the rules in the class, obviously my vote counts an infinite amount. So ha ha ha. Now, so it's not that. Class is not a true democracy. Too damn bad. So what I'm going to ask you to vote on is something very crucial. I'm going to ask you to vote on which cinematic universe do you like best. I'm going to rank. Are you ready? So if you don't like any of these, you just pick one to be your favorite, right? You pick. So let me show you this thing. So it's going to be between Star Wars, Star Trek, and the Avengers universe, right? The Marvel universe, right? So here's my thought process. You ready? Just picking one of these. Star Wars obviously has some pathetic movies in its lineup, right? If you don't agree with me, then something's wrong with you. But that doesn't mean that the Star Wars universe sucks. I love the Star Wars universe. I also love the other universes. But okay, this doesn't mean shit. So even if you don't understand what I'm talking about, it's still going to be something we can analyze. So here, let me throw this poll up here. Let me know. Oh shit, where? Oh, there they are. All right. So what I'm going to ask you to do is choose which ranking order matches your stuff. So one choice is going to be like Star Trek first, Star Wars second, Avengers last. Right. So you pick the one that puts them in the correct order of as far as which universe you like best. So here it comes. Get ready. Everybody get ready. Here it is. Can everybody see it? You should see the poll now.
Yes, see it.
All right, so do your picks. Pick the one that matches first choice, second choice, third choice. Well, this is going to be neat. Let's see if any don't get picked. Interesting. Oh, this is neat. All right, let's see how many people. I got one person that hasn't voted yet. There we go. Everybody's voted. Okay, so let me show you the results. Let me write them down real quick, just in case something gets lost in translation again with my Wi-Fi. All right, so here they come. Let me show you. So now you should be able to see the results. Can you guys see the results? We have a clear winner, which I pretty much knew it was going to be one of those.
Yeah.
Two. Yeah. Of course, most of you guys are young and all you freaking know is Avengers, but that's all right. That's all right. You might also know the Star Wars prequels, which might have taken that down. But anyway, so let me see. Trek Wars Avengers sucks. So the winner was Avengers, Star Wars, Star Trek. So let's do this. All right. I'm going to leave that up on the board. You guys, you want to copy it down? That's fine. So is there a way to do this quickly, Jeff? Not really. So we got event. Let me just do this in order. Trek Wars Avengers. Trek. In fact, I'm going to do Trek Wars Avengers. Got 2 votes. Wars Avengers Trek. Got 1 vote. Avengers Wars Trek got 6 votes. Trek Avengers Wars. Wait, is that the one that got no votes? I'm not going to write that one. I figured Star Trek would be the lowest, and I don't really blame you. Avengers Trek Wars got, where'd it go? 2, and Wars Trek Avengers got 2. Let me add me in here. I'm going to add me in here. What would my preference be? I think my preference would be that one. Yeah, so here I am. Bop. I love the Star Wars universe the best. And then the Avengers universe, and then the Trek. That doesn't say a damn thing about the movies. It's just which universe do I like best, right? Now, let's analyze these results. I'm going to stop sharing the results. Is that all right? I got them up here anyway, so I'm still sharing. Go away. I just want to get them out of the way. Okay. Oh, why am I not highlighted? Let me spotlight myself. There we go. It's all about me. Okay. Now, let's analyze this. Let's do this. Anybody got a majority? So let's see. Star Wars got how many first place votes? Star Wars.
2.
No. How many first place votes did Star Wars get?
4.
4. Okay, I like it. So this is going to be majority. Let's see if anybody got a majority. How many first place votes did Star Trek get?
2.
2. Is everybody with me? Anybody not with me? This is pretty much the exact same way they have it in the book, right? First place, second place, third place, and then the totals on the bottom. What about Avengers? How many first places do they get?
8.
8. I like it. And how many total votes were there?
14.
14. So this was a bad choice, Jeff. You knew Avengers were going to kick ass, but oh, well, it's too bad for me. So this would mean that Avengers got 8 out of 14, and that is definitely more than 50%, right? So let's see, what do they get? What's 8 out of 14? What is it, Jeff?
7.1.
Yeah, 57.14? Something like that?
Yes.
Okay. So pretty much Avengers wins. Let's try to analyze this in another way. Plurality, obviously plurality, Avengers got the highest percentage, right? What percentage did Star Wars get? This is Avengers. What percent did Star Wars get? 0.28 something.
2857.
And what percent did Star Trek get?
0.1428.
Yeah. 14.28% for Star Trek. All right. All right. So this is not as interesting. This is a bad choice for me. I knew Avengers was going to kick some ass because you guys don't know shit, but that's all right. So Avengers won the majority. It would also win the plurality because it's obviously the highest percentage. Let's try to analyze this with a runoff, but see, runoff doesn't really work because we are one that got a majority, but that's too bad. So, I mean, in a runoff, we would eliminate. Let's just do it anyway. In a runoff, who would we eliminate?
Trek.
Trek. Right? So then I would reevaluate everything with all the T's out of the way. Right? So if I eliminated all the T's, then I would reevaluate. Then Star Wars would get 2, 4, 6. Now this is going to be interesting. Oh yeah, that's right. It's not really interesting, Jeff. Star Wars would get 6. Is everybody? Let me stop for a minute. You guys with me?
I could actually like go a little slower.
All right.
For example, like when you ask a question, if we could have time to kind of like look, because I was barely like, okay, first choice is on top, second choice is in the middle, and the answers were already coming in. So just a little bit of time to be able to, okay, we hear the answer, somebody gives the answer, so to be able to see, okay, those are the votes, and just to put it together.
Okay. So this is the same way it's set up in the book with the choices and the totals. And all we did here was we saw how many first choice did everybody get? And then we did the percentages for those first choices. So Avengers wins clearly. Now, if I was to just apply a runoff to this, I would eliminate Star Trek, right? Because Star Trek got the least votes. You guys with me? Let me try. Is everybody with me on that? In a runoff, you eliminate the one who got the least votes. So I'm going to eliminate all the Treks. And then I do it again. So now, if that did not exist, how many first place votes did Star Wars get? 2, 4, 6. Right? Isn't Star Wars in first place here? Because that doesn't exist? You guys get that? So that's what runoff means. Eliminate the one with the lowest everywhere so they don't exist. Therefore, that's first place now in this row, in this column. And that's obviously first place. That's first place and so forth. So 2, 4, nope, 6. Star Wars would get 6, but Avengers would still get, you can do it, Jeff, 6, 8. Now that definitely made it closer, didn't it? You guys see how much that changed? So Avengers stays at 57.14. Do you guys see that? Because it still has 8. Avengers would stay at 57.14. But what would Star Wars go to? 6 out of, sorry?
42.85%.
Yeah, 42.85%. So, I mean, Avengers still wins, but see how much Wars went from 28 up to 42. Holy shit. So that's what a runoff does, is it takes the lowest one away, and then that person's votes kind of get sprinkled around everybody else. So that's how a runoff works. Okay, I like it. I like it. Now, what about pairwise comparisons? Let's see, get out of here. All right, Jeff, you'll be all right. Just erase all the T's. I want the T's back. So if I do all the pairwise comparisons.
What we just did was a runoff, right?
That's right. Runoff is kill the lowest one.
It was a sequential runoff.
Sequential would be if I had more than 3 choices and I had to do that more than once. Yeah. I keep going.
Okay.
I keep filling off the next lowest until somebody left gets more than 50%. All right. You can imagine why I didn't want to give us 4 choices, because then I wouldn't have enough room on the board, right? Okay. Now let's try pairwise comparison, right? Pairwise. Jeff, pairwise. So let's do Avengers versus Trek. How many times does Avengers beat Trek?
Once, technically.
No, let's see. 1. So 2 times here. Is that cool? Doesn't an Avengers beat Trek here?
Yeah.
This first row, no. Here it does twice, 8 times, 10 times, but not there. Let me do it again. You guys see what I'm doing? If I'm only comparing A and T, at. There's a good one for Wars fans. No? Okay. A little at. If I only look at A and T, did A beat T here?
No.
Nope. Did A beat T here?
Yes.
That's 2. Did A beat
So
T?
you had the point.
Yes.
Okay.
No. They get twice. How
So
many?
you had the
Sorry?
So if A beat T there, you count the 2 points, right? The 2
Because
votes.
how many times did this show up? How many times was this picked? Twice. So how many times did A beat T here? Twice. How about here? That'll be 6 more times. That's 8.
Okay, got
And
it.
here, that's 2 more times. That's 10.
Okay.
10 times A beat T. How many times does T beat A? Twice. 4 times. So A is the winner there. All right. We kind of knew that was going to happen. Right? Avengers kicked Star Trek's ass in here, which I agree with. So then what about A and W? Some good fast food there. A and W. Is everybody getting this idea? You guys fleshing this out a little bit better? So now I just ignore T. Did A beat W here? No. Did A beat W here? No. Here it did, right? You guys, everybody with me? So that's 6. It did 8, but not there. So 8 times. What about W would be the other 6, but let's see if you guys. So that'd be 2, 4, 6, which makes sense. So A won again. So this is kind of, we almost don't have to do this at one now. It doesn't really matter. Do you guys see why? A's already won twice. But let's just do this real quick. TW. So T beats W twice, 4 times. And W, Wars beats Trek 2, 8, 10. So Wars won that one. So this one says Avengers wins. So the nice thing that illustrates is that if something does have a majority of the votes in the first place, it would be very difficult to devise a method that would make it lose in some other voting method, some other counting method. Right? So Avengers won everything we looked at because it had a majority in the first place. Okay, maybe. Okay, so this would be the methods we could use if the ballots allowed people to rank their choices. Right, so if a ballot allows people to rank their choices, there's multiple ways we could look at those. We could do runoff, we could do plurality, we could do pairwise comparisons. Okay. All right, I don't know. Hopefully, I don't know if that helped. I really hope that helped. So now let's do this. I want to, oh, this sucks. Let me see if I could do this live. I really doubt. Hold on, everybody. I have another poll. I'm going to edit it right now because it still deals with this, and it's clear Avengers is going to win no matter what the shit I do with it. So I'm going to edit this real quick. Yeah, let me do this. All right, let's do something that's not as exciting as Avengers and all that kind of shit. You guys just kind of hang out for a minute as I do this. This is such an exciting class, Jeff. We get to sit here and watch you type. So happy. I'm so sorry. Okay, let's see how this goes. Oh. So now we're going to do an approval method. Let me make sure I got everything right. That would suck. Okay. So we're going to do this based on subjects, right? Subjects you can study. So if that's too boring, it's too bad. Let me move this. So there's going to be another poll coming up, and I want you to pick what's acceptable. This is going to be interesting. I don't know if this is going to be any good. What's acceptable to you amongst these three subjects? I left a comma out, but you're going to have to just, anyway. So here it comes. Okay. Between math, science, and English. Are there two of those you like, one of those you like, or are all three acceptable to you? This is exciting. I can see how many people are still here with me this way also. If you left the room, you're disenfranchising yourself. I should have said, what do you think I would say to this question? I'm curious what you guys think I would say to this question. All right, there's one person that hasn't voted yet. Who hasn't voted yet out there? Shame, shame. No, all right. Yeah, like that's my right. I don't have to vote if I, there we go. I got everybody now. So let me end the polling. All right, so let's share the results. Oh, good. Somebody got it right.
Is there a chart for this approval voting in the book that we can follow while you're teaching us?
Probably. So approval voting, let me see, what page was this again? So they discuss approval voting. I believe they discussed approval voting in 12B. Yeah, here we go. It's not really a chart. It's not really a very difficult method. That's what's kind of nice about it. Now, so you don't need to look at something, to be honest. Just get ready. Here we go.
I see where it's at. There isn't a chart. We're good.
Okay. So I'm going to add myself in there. So Alejandro got it right. I like math, science, and English. I actually am an aspiring writer, believe it or not. But I haven't gotten anything published yet. So math, science, English. So that would be 4. So let's kind of, I'm going to put this up on the board and we're going to analyze it. Okay, so let's see. So all 3, math, science, English, that was 4. I'm going to add myself in there. Only math, poor little math. I'm sorry, math. Science was 1. English was 5. I thought maybe that something like that might happen. Math and science was 1. Science and English was 3. Okay, now, so look at math. How many people approve of math? Four, 1, so 5. Do you guys see that? 5 people approve of math. Let me make sure you understand it's a 5. How many people approve of science?
Nine.
Say again?
9.
Let me see. Let me stop sharing this. Go away. Yeah. So 4. So science. 4, 5, 6, 9. I love it. How about English?
Well,
Yeah. 4, 9, 12. So English would win. English. Yeah. No, yes, maybe. That's approval voting. Right? So that one, it's kind of nice. You kind of could also, one thing you could do is actually, somebody could say, I think they had this picture in the book where it was like a approve, disapprove. So you could actually have negative points if somebody says disapprove. So, I mean, there's a lot of different ways you could do this. Pretty much every method fails, has a situation where it would fail, right? That's the point. So let me show you this in the book. What I'm talking about right now is the Fairness Criterion. This thing right here. Can you guys see that? The Fairness Criteria? Maybe?
yeah, I can see it.
Okay. So if you go through these, I'm not going to make you memorize these or anything. This is just so you know they exist, right? So there's some way to measure how fair things are. Number 1 makes sense. If somebody receives a majority of the first place votes, no matter what voting method you use, they should be the winner. Does that make sense? And which is, kind of a mark against, I don't know, the Electoral College. I don't know. If a candidate is favored over every other candidate in pairwise races, that candidate should be declared the winner. Does that make sense? If however you match them up, one person wins every single time, yeah, they should win. Now these get a little bit weirder. Suppose that candidate X is declared the winner, and then a second election is held. if some people rank X higher in the second election, X should still win, right? X is gonna win the thing. And then finally, if X wins, and then a second election is held, and nobody's preferences change, but one candidate drops out, then X should still win. That's what that says. And again, I'm not going to make you memorize those. I'm not going to have you figure out some weird, vague situation, right? I just want you to know those exist. So here's what's really nice. That's what voting theorists have come up with. And the neat thing is, no method we've looked at will work in every instance. No method we look at will meet all 4 fairness criteria always. So if it has a yes, it means it will always meet that fairness criterion. Are you guys with me? So obviously plurality will always meet criterion 1, which is if somebody gets a majority of the vote, they win. But it might sometimes fail criterion 2. Do you see anybody here that's got nothing but yeses? Nope. The one that's closest is pairwise. And I would hope you guys would realize pairwise seems to be kind of the strongest, because the easiest election is between 2 things. And pairwise just kind of does every possible 2 things. So that's why pairwise seems to be the strongest candidate. Do you guys understand what's happening? Anybody? And then look at this, the sequential runoff and the top 2 runoff and the board account, which is the points system. They have the most times they could fail, right? All right, I have no idea if you guys are with me or not. Okay, I'm thankful that I think I'm still here, right? Okay. All right. Again, I'm not going to make you memorize the fairness stuff. I'm not going to make you memorize. I'm not going to say, when does sequential runoff possibly not work? I'm not going to do that shit to you. I just want you to realize there are ways to measure how fair something is, and no method we have is always fair, which is great. That's life, right? I mean, I shouldn't expect something to work all the time. No voting system can satisfy all 4 Good Lord, what is in my... All right, you guys can read. I can't read, but you guys can read that. And then this is where they talk about the approval voting, the example that we just did. There's the approval voting. They give you a few examples. The beautiful thing about approval voting is, isn't it easy? It's easy. It's easy, right? Don't you just count how many times somebody said this one was okay? Do you guys follow what I'm saying? So approval rating is easy. Okay. Now, would approval rating always work? Well, look at example 4. Let me ask you guys, all right, stay with me now. Stay with me. This is an exciting day so far, I know, but come on. We had some polls. We talked about Star Wars. We didn't talk about, what's his name? Known as Baby Yoda, but that's too bad. What's his name again? Grogu? Anybody watching?
Grogu.
Grogu. Okay, thank you. Grogu. All right, it's like yogurt, just not. Yogurt, like Yoda, yogurt, Grogu. Hey, I found a connection. All right, I'll stop. What have I taken this morning? That's gonna help. All right. Here's a possible drawback. Let me just cut to the chase with all this shit right here in this example. 51% want A as their first choice. You with me? Whatever A is. They want candidate A. But 59% have approval of B in some form or another. You guys with me? But how many want B as their first choice?
15%.
15. So if we do approval voting, B wins, but B is preferred by the least number of people as their first choice. So that's a possible drawback. Now, at the same time, you can say people, if they like B or C, they do not like A. I mean, do you see what I'm saying? So you can kind of tease this out and say it's not really clear if that's not fair. But that's an immediate, that kind of violates criterion 1 in a way, doesn't it? Because the one that got the most first place votes wouldn't win. Personally, I don't see a problem with this. I don't think that's really a drawback in this situation, but it could be seen as a drawback. Okay, all right. Now, what time is it? Yeah, let's do a little bit more and then we'll take a break. That's really the end of 12B. Although they do have a picture, I think. Is this where they have? Yes, here's a picture of the Electoral College. What's going to happen after 2020 that might change this picture? Anybody know? No, nobody knows. What happens every 10 years in the United States?
The census?
Census. We count how many people are where. The electoral votes are based on the number of representatives in the House, which is based on the population of a state. Bless you. So after we do the census, I think the prediction is we're actually going to lose electors in California, and then some other states are going to gain electors. The least, now listen. I don't want to get too deep in the weeds on this, but the least number of electors a state can have is 3. I think it's the senators plus how many representatives. To be honest, I can't even remember. Wyoming has 3 electoral votes, but they have so small of a population. So effectively, every person in Wyoming, their vote is much heavier than our vote in California. Right. And again, I don't want to go on a rant and express my opinions and all this kind of shit, but land does not vote. People do. That's the bottom line on that shit. What the state might control. Shut up. Sorry. I'm going to get in trouble someday, very soon. Let's see, blah, 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 blah. There's not much more to talk about in section 12B. Here's what I was just talking about right here. Oh, they actually do it. This is nice. California and Wyoming. So California had this many people in 2016, and we had 55 electoral votes. So we had 720,000 people per vote. Whereas Wyoming had 197,000 people per vote. Right? So it's like 720,000 people per vote versus 197,000 people per vote. So when you divide those, you get 3.7 times as many people as an elector in Wyoming. So I don't know if you guys understand what that means, right? So our vote effectively counts 3.7 times less than somebody's in Wyoming's does. Okay, maybe. That's enough of that. Okay. All right. So let's see. Any questions on 12B before we move out of there?
Yes, it's just you can repeat what you said when we were in approval voting. You had mentioned about fairness criteria. You said you don't need to memorize that, just to know that it's there. And then you mentioned 2 things that you want to make sure we know. You said there are ways to measure, and then you said there aren't any voting systems that.
Yes.
If you could just repeat that, because I wasn't able to write that down.
So I want you to be aware that there are fairness criteria. There's a way to measure how fair something is, a voting method. And there is no voting method that is always completely fair. There's no voting method that always meets all 4 criteria. None that we've come up with yet, right? It could be possible. There's some really funky voting method that would work and meet all 4 criteria always, but it has not been discovered yet. So you could win yourself an award and you could get a voting method named after yourself if you discover one. Okay, but I feel like it'd be like metric. The America would go, oh, here's your award, but we're not going to do that shit. Ha 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 ha. And then, you know, we just keep going. All right. Okay. Is that cool? So there will be specific homework questions
Thank you.
about it. There will be specific homework questions about them. I don't care because you can go back in the book and look at them. But I'm not going to ask you very pointed questions on a quiz or a midterm about each fairness criterion, right? I'm not going to do that. Okay. So I just want to show you some examples in the homework. They're going to give you this. And they're going to ask you possibly either they're going to ask you to do it. In this one, it says pairwise comparison. And sometimes they could say to use several different. So like this one, I don't know if I assigned this for homework or not. What's a little weird about number 32? How many people voted?
Five.
5 people voted. Okay, so not many people. So the pairwise comparison here, how many pairs are you going to have to look at? You're going to have to look. So this is going to get a little bit tricky. You would have to compare A to B, A to C, A to D, A to E, and then B to C, B to D, B to E. Do you understand what I'm saying? So the minute you get more than 3 choices, the number of pairs you can make grows, right? Let me say something about that right now. We have too small of a group for this to work. Let me see if that's true. All right, give me just a minute here. We have way too few people, but let's try this. We got 14 people. Can everybody right now type in chat the date, the day you were born? So I was born September 21st. I'm not going to put the year down. You don't have to put the year down. Interesting. Ooh, September 23rd. That got close. There's some other September babies. Does anyone see any that has the same birthday? I don't think so. You guys all look at the chat. Does anyone see somebody else with your birthday?
Nikki, happy birthday tomorrow.
Oh, I'm not even paying attention. Jeez. Oh, today is the 14th, so that's happy
Oh,
birthday.
Nikki, happy birthday today. Have a good one. I hope you
What
have
did
a
I-
lot of fun and have a good time. Enjoy your day. And
What did
you'll be
I-
done with math soon.
What did I give her? I gave her a quiz. I'm such a good person. Anybody see anybody with the same birthday? No, I don't see anybody with the same birthday. Oh, camping and doing math. That's an interesting combination. Does anyone know the idea behind what I'm doing here? The minute you get about 34 people in a group, there's a better than 50% chance that 2 people have the same birthday. And that goes against, so I've been doing this on the first day of class, I'll do this when I normally have around 50 people in class. And there was only one semester since 1990 something that I didn't have at least one pair of people with the same birthday. And I would, if I had any twins or triplets in the class, and I've had that before, I say, we're not going to count you. That's cheating, right? And so there's only one semester, and that was when I think I had kind of a 30-something people in the room. And the reason people don't think that it's as possible as it is because you don't realize how many pairs of people can be made. So I could pair me with Nikki, me with Nancy, me with Alejandra, me with Danielle, me with Yahar, and everybody. And then I go to Nikki with Nancy, Nikki with Alejandra, Nikki with Danielle, Nikki with Yahar. And oh my God, there's so many pairs of people that increases the chances that there's a pair that had the same birthday. Now, in this case, I think nobody did. And that's because we only have 13 people in here. So the probability wasn't very high. But it's all about, so when you're doing a pairwise comparison, the number of pairs you have to compare grows very quickly. Yeah, okay. So, I mean, on that problem, if I did assign number 32, there would be a decent amount of work. Right? So you'd have to compare A to B, A to blah, 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 blah. Okay,
Is that section A?
Yes, this is 12A.
Yes. You did assign it. It's 12A.
No, I'm sorry, 12B. This is 12B.
12B. It's there. Yes. It's
32?
there. Yes,
32?
it's there.
Yeah, good job,
Yeah.
Pass Jeff. Have fun with that one, everybody. All right.
You know, we can all celebrate Nikki's birthday by removing 32.
That would be nice. And I am all out of nice. Sorry. So, sorry. I had to take, see, that wasn't a very good evil laugh. I got to practice. Shut up, Jeff. All right. All right, let's see. Okay. So 12C gets really kind of in the weeds. It really does. So I'm kind of deciding. I didn't assign a lot of homework from this section, but here's the basics of 12C, and then we'll take a break. Hopefully, you know, we have 435 representatives in the House of Representatives, right? How many senators do we have? How many states do we have? Am I still here?
It's 100 senators, right? Yeah. Yeah.
Yes,
right there.
100
It's the
senators,
number of-
2 per state. So we have a total of 535 Congress people, right?
I always mix those numbers up. So I didn't
I
want to
understand.
speak up. But then I saw that number of representatives thing right there. And I was like, oh.
Yeah, exactly. So there are currently 435 representatives. The only thing that the Constitution says, and again, this gets really in the weeds, is that you can't have one representative representing more than, less than 30,000 people, I think. Let me see. I think they say that in here. I don't remember. Anyway, this gets really in the weeds. So I'm thinking about making this section extra credit. There's not a lot of homework in this section. And the math is not that difficult. It just sort of, it really just goes deep into this. Right here, if you divide now, obviously we have a lot more people than this now. I think we're at 328 million now, right? Because people just keep making more people. So at the time we had 309 million. When I divide it by 435 representatives, that means each representative on average represents 710,000 people. Now, does that sound good? I don't know how to say that. Here it is. I'm sorry, right here. Suppose that the total number of representatives were the constitutional of 1 for every 30,000 people. That's the limit the Constitution sets. You can't have 1 for every below 30,000 people. You're right. So right now we have 1 representative for every 710,000 people. Holy shit. Are you guys at all with me? I know this is a little in the weeds. This is government. This is politics. This is whatever. But this is math of that. You know, like that doesn't make it any better, Jeff. I'm sorry. If we had 1 representative for every 30,000 people, we would have 10,300 representatives in the House. Wow. But I think the correct number is somewhere between 435 and 10,300, right? Maybe we should have more, possibly. I don't know. But then again, don't we have to pay each one of those people? Isn't that coming right out of our taxes? So, there's a bit of a, shit. All right. Yeah, so I'm thinking I will do this because there's some interesting stuff in here, but I don't know if you guys would agree with me that it's interesting. There's a bit of history about, look at this beautiful math down here. That's just such beautiful math. There's some history about how do we apportion things fairly. Because when you do some division, you'll get some fractions. Should this be 9 or should this be 10 for this state? All right. And then you have all these different people in history. They try to come up with a method to make it fair. This sounds a lot like just the voting methods, trying to make a method that's fair. And again, here, they basically showed that there is no method to make this fair. You can try to make it more and more and more fair. You got Hamilton's method and Jefferson's method is somewhere in here. Then you have paradoxes. Okay, that's enough. I think I will make 12C extra credit just because I don't want to go deep into the weeds of the history and all that kind of stuff. And you guys are like, if you want to, go ahead and do 12C. Read through the section. It's neat. It's kind of neat. It's here's what somebody thought up, and then somebody went, well, that doesn't work. And then they went, oh shit. And sometimes there was a duel and people kill each other, and then whoever lived made the rules, right? Okay. Let's take a break. I think I need to reset. I'm going a little crazy. Let's come back at 10:20. And when we come back, we'll get into chapter 4, believe it or not, and then we'll eventually call it a day. Okay. Oh my God. Is everybody back? Hello, you guys out there?
I'm here.
All right. I got 2 people here. Yeah.
Here.
Hey, 3. All right. Let me see. So what we're about to get into, chapter 4 is really all about finances, right? Oh, yeah, Jeff, from politics to finances. That's fantastic. I'm really curious, how many of you guys do some kind of a budget? Question mark. How many of you guys have a budget process or something, or do you just spend and make money and hope? Anybody? So there's
in the past, I've followed Dave Ramsey, but not currently.
All right. Anybody use any software to help you with budgets, and that could include, like, I do my budget on Excel. I download my spending from my bank and my credit card, and I do it on Excel. And does anyone use anything else? There's something called YNAB. That's some of my friends love for budgets. No? All right. The interesting thing about, so let me give you a little, I'm getting a little ahead of myself here, but I give you a little cautionary tale. When young Jeff was in grad school, it's what I like to call, I lived a very plastic life, because in grad school, I wasn't really allowed to have a job when I was doing research, but they weren't giving enough money as a stipend to the graduate research people. So I did have a job on the side, but it still wasn't enough. So I actually got a credit card and didn't think. It's normally the math people that make the worst mistakes. So I lived a very plastic life, and then I had to pay that back. And so be careful about credit cards, kids, is the bottom line. It's really, really smart to have a credit card, use it and pay it down, because then you build up your credit. That's the best way to build up your credit. Does anyone have do you guys have credit cards? Can you type in your number? I'm joking. Yeah. Does anybody have a credit card?
I'm friends with Cece.
You're friends with Stacy. I don't know what that means.
Cece. When I go out with a friend, if she says I can't pay, don't worry. Cece's with me.
Oh, I see. I'm with you. I gotcha. Good old CC.
Good old Cece,
Yeah.
but she gets paid off immediately.
That's the best way to do, because CC gets
yeah.
angry. CC gets very angry.
Oh yeah, she can get
Oh.
vicious if you don't keep her under wraps.
Yeah, Chase Student Freedom Card. That does sound, yeah, because otherwise you are not free, kids. Okay, tailored to students. I like it. All right, so just if the bank tries to raise your limit on a credit card, you can actually tell them don't do that. right? I don't know if you knew that. So if they keep raising the limit, they want to make you borrow more. So then you're paying them more, but you can just tell them, no, don't raise my limit. Keep my limit where it is. So I've got a little check on myself, right? Not a bad idea. So one thing about budgets. So how many guys access your bank online? Anybody? I mean, nowadays you basically have to if you have money in the bank, but are you able to see your, are you able to download your transactions? Do you know, even know if you can? Anybody?
I'm pretty sure I can, although I don't think I really make enough to have ever done that.
Understood. So the way that I personally do it is every month or whatever, I download my stuff from the bank. The nice thing is when I do that, it identifies the payer, the payee, who I paid the money to. So I can then categorize, like gas is a category and bills is a category. And what else you got, Jeff? I don't know. Energy, you know, SDG&E is a bill, but you get the idea. So I can entertainment is a category. And the reason you want to do that, all right. I know I'm talking a lot, but just stay with me, is you can then, if you have several months worth, you can get an idea of how much you spend per month in those categories. The most important thing is if you take how much money you're making and then you take how much money you're spending, you can see if you're in the negative, which is bad, obviously, right? Also, something else that goes into this. Let me ask you this. Any of you guys go to Starbucks ever? Any of you guys go to Starbucks several times? Anybody go to Starbucks several times a week?
I used to.
All right.
I used to, not anymore.
Understood. Let's assume there's somebody who goes to Starbucks 5 days a week, every day they work, right? So write this stuff down. Here it comes. They go to Starbucks 5 days a week and they spend like $5 each time they go. Let's make it 6. Let's make it more realistic. $6 each time they go to Starbucks. So they get a small coffee and half a piece of a crumb of some kind of bread. 5 days a week, $6 a day, 32 weeks a year, because we're talking about somebody a teacher that doesn't teach in the summer or whatever. Okay. How much money is that a year? Yeah. Right? It's $960 a year. I mean, so once you start analyzing things that you don't even realize that they add up over time, that is something you can immediately control, right? So you could get your own coffee at home. You could make your own breakfast. And that's not going to be free, but it's going to be a lot cheaper than that, right? Okay. These are all things I'm pretty sure that most of you guys think about this. And if you're not thinking about this, start immediately, right? I lived a plastic life. I had student loans. Anyone want to guess how much my student loans were when I finished all my degrees? Oh, well, holy shit. No, thankfully not 200,000. Oh, wow. Okay. Now I feel like this is going to be very anticlimactic. It was $30,000. I thought that was pretty good. I had $30,000 in student loan debt when I finished my degree. So I think that took me about 9 years to pay off. That was exciting. So when I made my last checkout, I had a big, oh my God, that's probably the drunkest I ever got. Yeah. So be careful, kids. But you know, surround yourself with good people when you're going to do that. Okay. So if you don't currently do anything about budget, you really need to. Because the minute you get eyes on the overall effect of something, the more you might change something very simple that will end up making things better for you in the long run. I also say don't let money rule your life, but you do want to keep an eye on it, right? Because otherwise future you is going to hate past you and you want to be nice to future you. All right. Something else we're going to talk about in this section besides budgets is stuff like different kinds of insurance. So what do you guys know about insurance? I don't know if I really don't know. I'm so old I don't remember what it was like for you in your whatever 20s or whatever. Is anybody worried about insurance? Or some of you guys probably maybe still on your parents' insurance policy? Or you don't have to tell me, it's personal, but does anyone have their own insurance through their work? Maybe anybody in that situation? No? Some of you? Okay. Anybody actually make choices about your insurance at some point? What choices can you make related to your insurance besides, you know, which insurance, Blue Shield or Kaiser or whatever? When you pick one of those, what choices can you make? Does anybody know? Let's talk about this. Let's talk about something that maybe we're all a little more aware of. I'm with you, HMO and PPL. We're not going to get that deep into it. Let's talk about car insurance, right? Okay, this one we might all be able to relate to better. When you pick your car insurance, what is it called? The amount that you have to pay once or twice or whatever number a year per year? Do you know what that's called? Anybody? No. Deductible is if something happens, is if you get into an accident. What is the deductible? Let's talk about that right now.
Premium.
Okay, so Nancy's got the right word. Premium is the amount that you pay. When you're anybody not quite 25 yet? Yeah. I don't know. I'm 24 twice over. So does anyone know what happens when you turn 25? The morning of your 25th birthday. Do you know what magically happens related to car insurance? Nobody? Some of you guys, I'm not 25 yet. What happens with it? Apparently, I don't know. What are you doing? I don't know. You're pointing at something. I guess you're saying they go down. Your premiums go down. Yes. Is that what you're saying? Stay with me now. Stay with me. Somehow, when you turn 25, the insurance company says, "Oh, you know how to drive now," and your premium goes down by a decent chunk. Does anyone know why? It's obviously not what I just said. Stay with me now. I know I'm talking a lot. I haven't shown you any numbers. I'm sorry, but does anyone know why your premium changes when you turn 25?
Would it have to do something with like the number of accidents?
Yeah. Yes. The
That 25
probability.
goes-
Yeah, the
Yeah.
probability of
Risk.
age groups getting into accidents. They analyze that. So your premium is affected by several things. Does anybody get a good grade, good student discount for your insurance? And if you are a good student and you don't know what that is, look that shit up, right? You better believe my nerd ass is getting some good student discounts on my premiums. Hell yeah. Why does that work? Because talking probabilistically, talking about probabilities, good students have a lower chance of getting into an accident because, they kind of pay attention to shit. All right, maybe. Does that mean that if you are a good student, you will not get into an accident? Does that mean that if you are a good student, you are a great driver? None of that means any of that. This is probabilities. This is averages amongst all groups of people. Okay. Woo! Woo! So we got premium. This works for any kind of insurance. Premium is the amount that you actually pay per year. It could be once or twice or 6 times or whatever times a year that you pay your premium, right? So I pay my car insurance premium twice a year. So I have it split up 2 payments, I think. I don't know. Deductible. Now let's go to deductible. Let's go to deductible. Deductible is the amount that you pay before the insurance kicks in, right? So if you have a $250 deductible on some kind of insurance and you get into an accident, you have to pay the first $250. So if your accident causes $220 of damage, insurance will not do shit for you, right? But why would somebody pick a higher deductible then, meaning you would have to pay more if there was an accident? Why would somebody pick a higher deductible? Why would they say, I'll pay more if I get into an accident?
Because you get a lower premium?
There you go. Beautiful. All right. And I know a lot of you guys are like, I know all this shit. And some of you guys are like, I don't know what this shit means, dude. My parents do all that stuff. So, and I'm young. I'm never going to die. Whatever. All right. So yeah, so if you choose a higher deductible, then your premium goes down. But what sucks, if you do get into an accident, you're on the hook for a lot more money. Okay. So when you talk about medical insurance, when you go to the hospital, what's the very first thing you do related to your insurance? When you go into a hospital for an appointment, what do you do? Very first thing related to your insurance, besides give them your card.
Pay your deductible.
Okay.
Yeah, in this case, it's called a copay, right? I worked in a hospital for 10 years? 9 years. Because I thought I was going to become a doctor. And after working there for a little while, I decided, no, I don't want to be a doctor, but it was good. So I was the guy at the front desk in all these different medical stations. So people hated me because I was the guy making them wait. I was the guy that took money from them. I ain't even seen the doctor yet. You want money from me? Yes, I do. Yes, I do. $10 to see a doctor. I'm so sorry. So that was exciting for me. Anyway, so I had no point to it. So that's what they call, it's sort of related to deductible, but not really, right? It's just the amount the insurance company wants you to pay. Has anybody ever heard of, and I am, again, all right, let me just say this. Have you heard of universal healthcare, otherwise known as Medicare for all?
Yeah.
Do you guys, which presidential candidate was most associated with Medicare for all? Does anyone know?
Obama?
Definitely not. Completely no.
Bernie.
Huh? Say again?
Bernie.
Yeah, there we go. Bernie Sanders was all about Medicare for all. Obama did probably the most work on improving the healthcare system. I will give Obama that. And of course, since then, they've decided to just slowly kill it. And then they go, oh, look, it's not working. Let's take this piece away. Oh, look how bad it's working. Anyway, sorry. Again, that's a bit of a opinion commentary. I'm sorry. Here's the thing. This is a purely mathematical point to make. When there's been discussions about universal healthcare, they'll say something like, that would cost $30 trillion over so many years. How are you going to pay for that? If you've been paying any attention to any debates, you've heard this before. What does that ignore? Doesn't even know what does that ignore? If you just say, it doesn't even matter if it's universal healthcare. Your plan will cost $30 trillion. How are you going to pay for all that? What does it ignore? You can do this. If I have a new plan for something and then say, well, that plan's going to cost $30 trillion. There was an old plan, wasn't there? So what is it ignoring when they say, how are you going to pay for that new plan? You can do it. So there's a current insurance. Yes. And again, I think you probably know where I stand on this issue. But independent of that, this is the general public not understanding math well enough to analyze something. Taxes are going to go up. Holy shit. The minute taxes go up, that must be an evil. But the other things you're paying would go down. They never want to say that. Anyway. So I snuck a little bit of my opinion in there. I'm sorry. Okay, let's do this. Let me give you a specific couple of situations. Let's say you have a choice between two policies, right? So write this down. The first policy costs $250 a month, right? That's the premium. But there's $1,000 in deductibles. The second policy costs $150 a month, but there's $6,000 deductible. What are the pros and cons of each? Is there a way to analyze that to tell which one you should get?
Now, is this for, what kind of insurance is this for? Health?
It doesn't even matter, to be
Okay,
honest.
well, I would say maybe looking at the statistics of the rates of accidents, and then kind of like calculate your age and see the previous rates accidents, and then see what chances you have, the probabilities, and then see if you conveniently have $6,000 in your bank account, or if it's easier to just pay it little by little monthly in your premium, and it's where it's easier to, to whip out 1G.
Yes. I love it. So we are going to talk a little bit about statistics and probability. Off the top of my head, I can't remember if we're going to do this, but there's actually a table you can create that brings in the probabilities of things to help you make choices. Nancy did bring up a really good point. If this was a health insurance plan, it depends on the general state of you, right? I mean, if you're generally healthy, you might feel more like a gambler. If you're generally not healthy, you're like, screw the gambling thing. Are you guys all with me? All right. We haven't done much of substance yet, and I'm sorry. Okay, I don't have a lot of notes on this section, to be honest. Let's look at some of the homework, see what's going to happen in this section. The first chapter in 4 really just introduces the broad ideas. So let me share this. Bam. Okay. So we'll get something like, all right, I want to find a problem. Yeah, okay. Let's do this. Let's get some nice math problems in this math class. I feel like this is Jurassic Park. There will be some math in this math class. All right. Look at number 26. So what I want you to do in number 26, this is page 202 if you have your own book, is do what it says. Find the monthly expense. So what does that mean? That means, well, let's see. Just do it. Let me see if you guys can see what that means. So for example, if I had to pay $600 twice a year, what does that translate to monthly expense? If I kind of average it out across the whole year, if I had to pay $600 twice a year, what does that translate to as far as like a monthly expense if I just spread it across the whole year? Can you guys see what I mean by that? $600 twice a year is how much money?
1,200. That would be 100.
Yeah, 1,200 divided by 12 months is $100. So I want you to do pretty much what I just said. Do it for number 26. So yeah, there's nothing crazy in number 26. It's just pure computation.
Okay, I'm sorry. I have a really silly question.
Yeah.
What are credit hours?
Oh, like units.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, so it's another way to reference how many units a class is. You could say it's 3 units, but 3 credit hours. Yeah, okay, good
Okay,
question.
thank you.
Sure. Most universities talk about credit hours. Yeah. All right, so let's see. So this really is just a question of what do you multiply? What do you add? What do you do? So there's 15 credit hours for each of 3 quarters. So how many total credit hours is Better Call Saul taking?
I got a 42,750.
Whoa, wait. So let's do. I'm doing this one step at a time.
Okay,
So he's taken how many total credit hours? 3 times 15. He's taken 45 credit hours. Is that cool? All right. And then the next thing says tuition and fees come out to 600 per credit hour. So of course, what am I going to do?
Divide divide 45 by 600.
Well, Saul would love that shit. But if it's 600 per credit hour, what would 2 credit hours cost? If it's 600 per credit hour, 2 credit hours would cost how much?
1,200.
1,200.
But it's 3,
So-
isn't it?
You multiply, right? What do you mean it's 3? We could do this.
Oh, it's 2.
We can-
Okay, okay.
All right. I'm not sure what 2 means. So Saul has taken 45 credit hours and it's $600 per credit hour. I know why you said divide because the word per is in there, but let me go to the board. You're all like, you're just talking to us. Get up off your ass. All right, give me a minute. Where did I go? Oh yeah, I'm sharing. Hopefully you got written down what you need for this problem. Here we go. I'm going to stop sharing. There I am. So let's see, 15 per quarter, 3 quarters. So he takes a quarter off. What else was there? It was $600 per credit hour, right? In tuition. Comes out to 600 per credit hour. And then the final thing is textbooks are $350 per quarter. All right. So these two tell me, 45 credits. Is that right? 15 credit hours per quarter, 3 quarters. So that's 45 credit hours. Is that cool? All right. Then you can bring in this $600 for every credit hour, and there's 45 of those bad boys. That's 600 times 45. Now, just to make sure, this kind of sucks. I know the book made this point about per means divide, but if I said it was $1,200 per 8 months, then I would divide to see how much per month. That's not what this is. I've already divided to see it's 600 per credit hour. So now if I know how many credit hours, I'm going to multiply. Okay, maybe. In fact, if you want to look at it like this, 45 credit hours. 1 credit hour is $600. Multiply. Is that cool? Maybe. Yes, somebody says yes. I'm not sure from when. So how much money is that so far?
$27,000.
Yeah, 27,000. Yeah, look at that shit. And then of course the last thing we got to add in is $350 per quarter. So how much money does this translate to? 350 times what?
1050.
Well, you told me it's times 3, which is 1050. I'm with you. So then the total amount they pay per year is $28,050. Is that all right? And then the last thing you have to do is spread that across 12 months. So then you would divide this bad boy by 12. So is there like a standard way to do this kind of problem? No, it's just look at the information they give you. Do you multiply? Do you divide? How do you put this stuff together to get the total amount? And then the last thing you do is you divide this by 12 months. So what do we end up with? Let's see, 14,025, 7,012, divided by 3. Are you guys gonna make me do it? 1,300 and, I don't know, that sounds about close enough, right? Oh, really? Am I that far off? What did I do wrong? I'm trying to do it in my head. That's probably, does that make sense, Jeff? Yeah, that makes more sense. So what do you get, 2337, 50? All right, I'm gonna give myself shit for a minute about being that far off. What did I do wrong? Oh, that's what I did wrong. God, whatever, Jeff. All right. Are you guys with me? So one thing that's going to suck about this section is there's no standard way to do each problem. But each problem doesn't have very advanced math. This isn't advanced math. It isn't. It's just, do you know what to do with the numbers? Do you multiply them? Do you add them? What do you do? Right? Okay. My goodness. All right. Blah, blah, blah. Is there another one that's interesting in there? Did somebody chat at me? Okay. Blah, 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 blah. Let's see. So these are basically the same. Go ahead.
So it's safe to say, as a good rule of thumb for this chapter, whenever we see per, it isn't dividing.
So the interesting thing about per, I want you to really get this. How did they figure out 600 per credit hour? They could have said, well, let's see, this guy took 12 credits and it cost him $72,000 or whatever. So when you divided, you got 600. So they had to divide just to figure out this. But most of the time when I see per, that actually means I'm gonna end up multiplying. If it costs $3.50 per gallon for gas and I get 10 gallons, you wish you divided 350 by 10. Here's your 35 cents. Are they gonna be happy about that shit? No. If it's 350 per gallon and you get 10 gallons, isn't that 350 times 10? And why is it? Because of this. So much per thing times the number of things. Bam, bam. So you multiply to get the total. Is that all right? So I didn't make this point earlier because I was hoping it wouldn't get confusing. But the book says per means divide. What they mean is if there were 48 hot dogs per 16 people, how many hot dogs per person? 48 divided by 16, right? You get 3 hot dogs per person. Are you guys with me? Okay. So if 3 hot dogs per person and there were 10 people coming, then I would say, let's get 30 hot dogs. 3 times 10. 3 hot dogs per person times 10 people. That would give me the number of hot dogs, right? Wouldn't make sense to get 0.3 hot dogs if 10 people were coming. All right, is that all right? So I was hoping, I saw that in the book where they talk about per and it means divide. It really, really more generally means you're going to have to multiply.
Okay, thank you for that because I was confused.
Okay.
So, okay, per multiply, okay.
Yeah, so does it always mean multiply? No, but does it most of the time mean you're going to multiply? Yes. Yeah, I think I get what you're saying there, Caitlin. So if I already know it's $12 an ounce. Somebody's already done the division. Do you guys understand? The division has already happened. And that's the division the book was talking about with per. $12 per ounce. The division's already happened. Now, if I want to buy 7 ounces of that shit, I'm going to have to do 12 times 7 to get the money that I'm going to have to pay, right? I don't know what this stuff is. 12 bucks an ounce. Caviar. I have no idea. Bless you. Okay. Does that help? Does that help? So I should have maybe said something earlier when I saw that in the book, but I was just, okay. Let's see. I want to find a specific kind. I think these kinds here, these kinds, is that grammatically okay? Yeah, I think so. Like number 32, it says to, for net cash flow. And they tell you to do some assumptions about the number of weeks in a month and all that kind of stuff. So find the net monthly cash flow. I love that. There's some good math. The math is not hard. Can you guys find, what does that mean? So if I made $80,000 a year and I had $70,000 expenses every year, then that means I have a positive cash flow, $10,000. And then I can divide it by 12 to get per month. Do you guys understand the idea? So can you figure out the total income per year and the total expenses per year and then take the difference is really the first step there. So try to do that for number 32. And then I'll do it with you here in a minute. Oh shit, let me share this. I thought I was still sharing. Oh, let me move this over here. So this is the one I'm talking about, guys, number 32. I don't know if somebody doesn't have a book out there, I'm sorry. Bluetooth mode.
Bluetooth connected.
Oh, thank you. No, I got so much. All right. Stacks of shit surrounding me. So, there you are. Here, I'll write in blood red. All right. So looking at the income. 7,000 a year, 8,000 a year. It's interesting they're considering loan to be income, but that's okay. We're not paying it back yet, I guess, is the thing. So how much the part-time job makes per year?
14,400.
Yeah, so you just multiply 1,200 times 12, 14,400 a year. So then the total income for every year, just add all this stuff up. All right, no one's going to help me. That's okay. So I get 29,400 per year. Is that cool? Can this guy live in San Diego? Sorry. Maybe if they rent somebody's closet, they can make it. So look at the expenses. Well, look at this. Is this San Diego? Dude. One of my first apartments was $326 a month. It was downstairs. It was in the basement of this building, and the hot water pipe ran across the ceiling. I would hang my clothes over the hot water pipe to dry. It was interesting. It was anyway. So this translates to what? So let's translate it into per year. So $600 a month is how much per year?
7,200.
Yeah. And then groceries. Now this is interesting. It does tell me, I can't scroll up anymore, I don't think. Let me see. Yes, I can. If I do this weird thing. Assume 1 month is 4 weeks. Get down there. Now what I could do, let me see if you guys are with me on this. I could have translated everything into per month. Do you understand what I'm saying? I could have in the first place. That's one way you could do this because they want per month anyway. So look what I'm going to do. I'm going to ignore this for a minute. Let me see if you guys are going to be with me. Everything else is years and month here, right? Just put groceries aside for a minute. Okay. What about this one? What is this per year?
That's just 7,500, isn't it?
Yeah. I was seeing if anybody's paying attention. What about this one? So that'll just be
480.
480 a year. Okay, I like it. Hopefully everybody's with me and you're all like, well, this is just easy shit, Jeff. All right, good. 200 a month will be
2,400.
yeah. And then 65 a month. What's that going to be, Jeff?
780.
Yeah. All right, now look what I'm going to do. So I've still got groceries I haven't done yet. So what is this so far without groceries? I don't know. What is that going to be? 14,700, 15,180, 17,580, 17,580, 18,360. Is that what that is? Somebody help me out. You guys got calculators?
Yes. 18,360.
Now that's not including groceries yet, but now, and again, you could do this multiple ways. You could do this problem multiple ways. You could have, from the beginning, you could have made everything in terms of months if you wanted to. If I divide this by 12, doesn't that make it per month, right? And this would be 280 a month. Is that cool? So if I divide this by 12, I don't know. This is not the most exciting class in the world, but too bad. I get 1530. And then I can add in the 280 per month. So I get 1810, I think. See if you guys agree with me. Okay. I don't know why. I could have just done 52 weeks of here. I don't care. All right. So now, and then if you divide this one by 12, you can get the per monthly income. And then your cash flow is going to be the difference between those. So you could have negative cash flow. You could have positive cash flow. This guy's going to have positive cash flow because he doesn't live in California.
So is the question asking for figure it out whatever his money intake and expenses are per month, or can we just work it up to a year and then subtract it?
Well, I did a year and then I divided by 12 to get a month. You could just do everything in terms of a month. The question says, figure out the net cash flow per month. Where's it at?
Ah, okay, yeah.
Find each person's net monthly cash flow. So there's multiple ways to do it. I, for some reason, chose to do it, make everything in terms of a year and then divide by 12. Do you have to do it that way? Hell no. So I haven't quite got the answer yet for this problem. So all I have to do now is just subtract these two. And he's got a positive, he's got more income than expenses, which is, you know, what you always want, kids.
So 640.
640. I love it. So it's a plus 640. So the answer to some of these problems that look like this could be a negative answer, which is not good, which means their credit card debt is growing and growing or something, right? And that's when you say, maybe I don't need Disney Plus. maybe I don't need that stuff. Okay. Maybe I don't need that Starbucks latte every day and the pink drink. All right. So this is sort of like the theme of the class. I'm sure you guys have caught on to this. It's here's this general life situation stuff. How does math come into play, right? Here's politics. How does math come into play? Here's finances. How does math come? Here's logic. How does math come into play? I mean, all right. Let me clear this. Let's see what other kind of problems they've got here. Holy shit. Hopefully you guys all have that. I'm sorry. Oh, so figure 4. Okay, here, let me show you figure 4.1. This thing I'm curious about how I relate to this. And I'm really curious about how true this is. Figure 4.1 is this funky bar graph. Where are you? Where are you? I'm going to find you. Dadgummit, Jeff. You've passed it. All right, it's down here somewhere. Figure 4.1 shows you by age what spending looks like. You crazy. There you are. Okay. Whew. This is really kind of funky. This is very difficult to see. I'm sorry. You can't really see the difference between blue and yellow too well, can you? I am in the middle age group. Yay, somewhere in between. I would think that a lot of you guys are below 35, and some of you guys are with me in this middle group. I have no idea. Let's see. Here we go. U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics. Okay, so it's at least correct up to whatever date they looked this up. So this kind of tells you spending habits by age for these different categories. And these are kind of like the categories I was talking about: food, rent or mortgage or whatever. Entertainment, I normally put like clothing and yeah, sure, into entertainment. Anyway, healthcare, obviously the older you get, the longer that bar gets, right? That kind of makes sense. And this is average. Of course, there are younger people with major health problems and their health is going to be higher. As you get older, you don't care so much about clothing. I agree with that. Your clothing budget goes down. Okay, let me see. Blah, 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 blah.
Especially when it's COVID and the only store open is Walmart. Remember,
sure.
like around March,
Yeah.
April, everybody
Plus,
was sporting Walmart.
Who's doing pants shopping right now? I mean, number one, I could make this so you would never know what the hell I'm wearing below my waist. And number two, I don't want to buy pants right now because I'm hoping I could slim back down once I can do more running and well, I can run right now, but more gym stuff. So I don't want to buy these big ass pants right now. Anyway, so they're going to give you some situations. Now look at what this means. Can somebody tell me roughly estimate how much somebody who is under 35 will spend on personal insurance and pensions? Somebody who's under 35.
9.
How much? Yeah, roughly 9.
9%. Around 9%.
9%. These are percentages. So the problem I was just looking at, and I wish I would have remembered what page it was on. Let me see if I can get there. Oh, no holy way. I'm almost there. No holy way. I don't know what that means. Where did you go? Here you are. So it says, look at these situations. So like, for example, 35, a single 30-year-old woman with a monthly salary of $3,600 spends $900 a month on rent. So what percentage of her salary does she spend on rent?
What age is she?
That doesn't matter right now. What percentage of her salary does she actually spend on rent? I'm not talking about the table. The table is averages for everybody. This woman, what percentage does she spend on rent?
25%.
25%. Now you go back to table 4.1 and compare. Is it the same? Is it above? Is it below? Do you guys follow how to do that section? So calculate what it is for the situation they give you. Then you look at the table and find them. So now it matters that she's under 35, right? She's under 35, 25% on housing. So under 35 is the red bar. Housing is right here. And normally somebody would be paying 30, maybe 34%. And she's only paying 25%. Are you guys with me? So she's paying less than the national average. Percent-wise. Okay. Maybe she's living in Wyoming where they pay less for rent and their votes mean more. All right. So that's one section of homework, is talking about that table that you have to compare, and it brings in percentages, which I like, just to keep the percentages alive. And again, they're going to have a lot of these kind of problems. Look at this problem 41. It is loaded with data. It is loaded with information. So it's really just, can you do the correct math with what they tell you? So this one gives you two options. You can get a new fuel efficient car, which gets better gas mileage, or you can stick with your old car. And then it also talks about insurance. I mean, those are going to be exciting. So again, these kind of problems, the math is not difficult. It's just, there's so much information, you have to know what to do with each piece of information. So these are problems that you can really sink your teeth into, but you just have to know what to do. There's no like general rule to apply. Do I divide if it's this? I don't know. You just got to do the right thing with the numbers in the situation.
It's like a puzzle.
Yeah, it's a bit like a puzzle. I like it. But these are freaking things that happen to everybody in real life. And the more you can just analyze this thing here, the more you can do it for yourself. Okay. Let's see. I think most of them are going to be like that. See, here's another one where you have to compare two plans. Okay. So most of the problems in this section, section 4A is very kind of like high level stuff. Here's all the basic, here's all the ideas. Just, do you know what the math to use to analyze this stuff? Just to look ahead a little bit. Where am I at? Okay. Here we go. What's coming next is some more specific but more complicated math, right? So it's going to get more specific. There's going to be kind of recipe-ish ways to do things, but the math is going to get a little more involved. Has anyone heard of these two different types of interests? Simple versus compound? So let's do this. Let me give you an example of both things in action.
I've heard of them, but I have no idea what they are.
Okay. So let's do this. Let's see, what time is it? Okay. Simple interest is exactly like it sounds. It should be the easy case. Simple interest does this kind of thing. It's, let's see, can I get closer? There we go. Oh man. All right. Shoop. Simple interest. Here's an example. Let's say you put $5,000 into a 5% simple interest account. How much will you have at the end of a year? So this is like your checking account, your savings account, stuff like that. So what simple interest means is it's they add interest in after a certain set amount of time. So normally it's a year. So in this case, it's 5% per year. So you put $5,000 into it. After a year, how much money is in your account? Somebody's being very hopeful there. Unfortunately, you don't make $250 in a year doing this. That would be amazing. All right, that sounds better. So it would be, well, how would you do this? So do you see how this question is putting into play something we learned about percentages before this? What do I want to do? I want to do 5%.
Times 5,000?
Maybe it is 250. What am I thinking about? I think you're right out there, Nikki. So I want to do 5% of 5,000. So of course, how do I do that?
Put 5 into a decimal.
Yeah, good. So that would be
0.05.
0.05 times 5,000, which of course is 250. So I'm gonna say I'm so sorry. So 5250. All right. Now that's simple interest. 5250.
I'm
So
sorry.
what is? Sorry.
I'm sorry. Where'd you get 5250? You have 250 and then
Oh,
5250.
So of course, this is the amount. Now this would suck if this is what I had in the account at the end of a year, right?
Okay.
So I put 5,000 in. I earned $250 in interest. So of course, how much is in there now at the end of a year?
I get it. Okay.
Yeah.
Got it. Thanks.
All right. Now, so let's keep that in. And let me kind of summarize that up here. 5% simple interest. We end up with 5250. Okay. Now, I'm going to erase all this, and we're going to put $5,000 into a different kind of account. So now 2. What if I put $5,000 into an account that compounds monthly? 5% interest per year. Okay, let's see how we gonna do this. Let me check something real quick before I do too much with this. I'm not even sure how far the book goes with these examples. Okay, I like it. Coolness. Okay, so let's see how this works. Pop. I want to see how far they go. Okay. Got it. Okay. So what if we put it into $5,000 into an account that compounds monthly? What that means is it doesn't wait till the end of the year to give you your interest. It puts that interest in every month. So why would that, are we going to end up with a different amount than this then at the end? What do you guys think? Am I going to, if they add money onto this each month, so the next month I get more interest based on the higher amount, am I going to end up with the same amount at the end of a year?
Wouldn't it be more?
It's going to definitely be more because now I am sometimes taking a percentage of a higher number, right? Let me do this. The book doesn't get this crazy. I made kind of a crazy problem. That's why I was trying to double check if I went too far with this problem. I sort of went a little too far. So let's do this. Let's take a step back. I don't want to make this harder than the book makes it. Let's take a bit of a step back. Let's come back to this. Put $5,000 into a 5% simple interest account for 4 years. Okay. So the idea with a simple interest is if you add interest, you don't make interest on top of the new money. You don't add the interest and then make more interest on that higher number. So what the formula for simple interest, you got to love this formula, is the interest is the principal, right, times the rate, which is what we did a minute ago. We did 5,000 times 5%, right, times the time that it's in there for. So that is the simple interest formula. It gives you the interest once, not multiple times, right? So therefore the interest on this will be 5,000 times 0.05. That's the 250 we got earlier, but now I'm going to multiply that by 4 years. Okay. So now, of course, I'm going to get 250 times 4. I'm going to get $1,000. Is that cool? You guys with me out there? Okay. Now this is nice. Maybe I can fit the next. So I end up with how much money in the bank at the end of 4 years? 5,000 plus 1,000. I end up with $6,000. Now, what if I put it into an account that compounds yearly? All right, I'm going to actually need more space than this, to be honest. This is going to get kind of interesting. Okay, so what the shit does that mean? That means at the end of the first year, they add the interest. So in the second year, I'm making money on that higher amount. Okay, that's basically what compounding means. So I'm going to have to erase this, I think. This is going to be a little more intricate. We're going to develop the formula, and then we'll write what the formula is so we have a shortcut. So we're going to do the long cut first. So I'm going to erase this. Let me keep this up here.
I just have a quick question. What is the 6,000 right there? We had 1,000, and then you have an arrow up there. Went
Again,
up from the 1,000.
I have 5,000. I earned 1,000 interest. So how much money do I have total at the end?
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
So
Perfect.
if
Thank
I
you.
do simple, I get 6,000 at the end of 4 years. All right. So I'm going to erase all this. Here we go.
I get lost into the problem and I forget what we already invested. Thank you.
So this is the formula for simple interest. In fact, you ready? This is how I read this. I be pretty. All right. I am pretty. Oh, that's so nice, Jeff. Okay, well, I'm going to erase this, and we're going to put the same $5,000, but now we're going to put it into a compounding account. Compounding yearly. Okay, now help me out. So at the end of the first year, so in the first year, I'm going to make 5% of $5,000. I'm going to make $250. Are you guys with me? Now I add that on top. So in the second year, I've got 5,250, and I'm going to make 5% of that. So this is that idea of, where have we seen this before? I feel like we've seen this before this semester. I can't remember now. Shit. All right, maybe we have. So what is 5% of 50? Somebody help me out. 525. 262.50. Yes, 262.50. So now I've got, sorry, let me put this here. So at the end, 52.50. So now how much do I have? If I add that on top of this, how much do I have now? Right, so I had this much, make 5% on top of that. So I make this much interest. Now, if I add that to what I had to start with, how much do I have at the end of the second year? Yeah, 55.12.50. I like. Anybody not with me so far? Now, do you see the motivation? Do you want there to be a shortcut for this? Can you imagine if I left this in the bank for 80 years? Do you want to have to do this? First year, second year, third year, shit. Right? You kind of hope there's a shortcut, right? Anybody? No. Okay. So we are going to develop a shortcut. But let's just finish this out. Third year, we do the same thing again, but now I've got 55.12.50. This is going to get a little more disgusting. Well, let me see. Where's my calculator? I have no idea. All right. So what's 0.05 times 55.12.50? Why did I do this for 4 years? Oh, too bad. 551.25. Yeah, that sounds about right. 275.625. And then if I, again, and then if I add that to how much we started with, I end up at, you're going to try to do that in your head, Jeff. 57.87, 57.88.125, I think. Somebody check me on that. Is that right? Yes. Okay. Are you guys with me? I know this isn't exciting. Does it make sense so far? I mean, at the end of every year, since it compounds yearly, at the end of every year, I'm going to add the interest, and then the next year starts with a higher amount. So now the fourth year, spell the word. Here we go, Jeff. Fourth year, there you go, buddy. I'll start with 57.88.125. I want to figure out what 5% of that is. So then I can add it on top. What's that going to be, Jeff? That's going to be 289.40625. Is that right? Oh boy, so many decimal places. Again, all you have to do is do 0.05 times that in your calculator. And now you add that to this, and you can see I'm going to end up above 6,000. So I end up at 6,000. Oh, let's see. Thank you. What is it? 6,000?
6,077.53125.
531. And of course, the bank would round down to 53. So you would make $77.53 more after 4 years in something that compounds yearly. All right. So what I want to do, so let me put up here, compound yearly, we got 6,077.53. So now I want to show you what the formula is to do all this in one step. Thank God, because again, if I leave it in there for 80 years, do I really want to do this till I get to 80? I'll probably be about 80. All right. So I'm going to erase all this. Here we go. Going. All right. And now we're going to get theoretical, kids. Get ready. Let's get theoretical. So if I start with this much, and I multiply that by the rate, right? The interest rate. And then I add it back to this. Is everybody cool with what I've done so far? Actually, I'm sorry. Jeff, you could do better. So I have a principal. This is the amount that I put into the account times the rate, and then I add it on top of the principal. Is that cool? And that's how much I have after the first year. All right, now how can I rewrite this mathematically? Let me rewrite it first like this. Can't I write this as this? Do you guys remember? What have I done here? You guys remember this? I can take a P out. What is P times 1 plus R? What do you get? P? Are you guys, what's happening out there? Are you guys okay out there? Don't you get P plus PR? Isn't that exactly what that is? Does anyone know what form of factoring it is to take out the common thing?
Okay, I'm lost here. So, yeah.
Let me just back up. Let me ask you this. If I have 2x plus 4, can I rewrite that as 2 times something?
2 times x plus 2.
Right? Is everybody cool with that? All I did was undistribute, which is called greatest common factor, or you can just think of it as undistribution. Distribution would put the 2 back into both. So of course I got to take a 2 out of both. Why? Because they both have a 2 in them. So what can I take out of both of these? Let me rewrite this a little bit. Let me rewrite this way. Same thing, right? P plus PR. What do they both have?
P.
P.
P. What's P divided by P?
1.
What's PR divided by P?
R.
R.
How do you check yourself? P, bam, plus PR, bam. Okay. Are you necessarily going to have to be able to do that yourself? No, we're developing a formula right now. Right? Now watch. Stay with me. All right. So that's what we get at the end of the first year. Second year, don't worry, I'm not going to do, because I want to get up to T years. What about T years later? All right, now watch. Second year, how much money do I have? So the amount in the account after the second year is going to be how much I've got now. You could do it, Jeff. You could do it. There you go, buddy. Plus, all right, this is where things get a little weird. This is where things get weird. Yes. P times R. Oh, let me see if I can do this in a way. P times 1 plus R. So is it times R? How much money do I have? This much money. And what am I going to add to it? The rate times the amount of money I've got in there, right? And again, you're not going to have to do this again yourself. Technically, you can even stare at a wall and tune out while I do this, because I'm going to end up at the formula we're going to use. But I do want you to see the reasoning that goes into this formula. So whatever amount of money I've got in the account, don't I add R times it? So whatever amount of money I've got in the account, I add R times it. All right, now watch. I can take a P times 1 plus R out of this whole, doesn't this have a P times 1 plus R in it? Yes. Doesn't this have a P plus 1 times R in it? Yes. What is this divided by itself? 1. What is this divided by this? R. Okay, that got weird. What are you doing, Jeff? Here's some weird shit, Jeff. But don't they both have this? Don't they both have this? Right? If you take it out, this has 1 left because you took everything you had. This divided by itself is 1. This divided by this is R. Bam. And what's a better way to write this? Is P times 1 plus R squared. Now we already can tell what the formula is going to be. After 1 year, it's the principal times 1 plus the rate to the first power. After 2 years, it's the principal times 1 plus the rate to the second power. So what is it after T years? After T years. So we make a formula. So T could be whatever I need. How much will I have in the account? P times 1 plus R. After 2 years, it's P times 1 plus R to the second power. After 1 year, it was P times 1 plus R to the first power. So what is it after T years? P times 1 plus R to the
third. T.
Well, after 3, it would be third. After 4, it would be a fourth power. So after T, it's the teeth power, right? Teeth power. No. So now I've got simple interest. Formula is I be pretty. Compound interest formula is this bad boy here. Why is it more difficult? Because more shit's going on. That's why. I want to verify something. So let's redo this using this formula. Okay. I love you guys. Again, this was derivation. You're never going to have to do this yourself. This was the work to get us to the general formula. So what do I have? If I go back, if I had principal is $5,000, I got my rate is 0.05. I want it for 4 years. If I plug all that stuff in, now this is all about, can you put this in your calculator correctly? So one thing you can do for yourself is 5,000 times 1.05 to the fourth. So how would you put that in the calculator? 5,000 times 1.05 to the fourth power. If anybody doesn't know where your to the button is, ask me now. Very often the to the button looks like X to the Y. On a graphing calculator, it's exactly this. So let me know now if you don't know where your to the button.
Yes, I do need to confirm. So that's the to the button. So where do you go in your calculator? For example, you know, a little paper that comes with a calculator.
Little paper that comes with the calculator.
It's like a little card. It comes in the back. It looks like a big credit
So
card.
you got a scientific calculator, a little card, sure.
So we go to scientific calculator. Just
Yeah,
is there
you
a
have a
different?
scientific calculator.
I mean,
You
what
have a
setting?
button
I'm
that
sorry.
looks like
What
this.
setting is it?
No setting. Do you have a button
Okay.
that looks? You have a button that looks. Okay, good. So then you would put 5,000 times 1.05. Hit that button 4. Yeah.
Thank you. Got it.
So let me know. Anybody else? Let me know if you need some help.
I do. I have a TI 83. Where do I do that?
All right. Does anyone else have a TI 83? Anybody?
I have a 30X,
Coolness.
the
Does anybody
basic
else
one.
here? Anybody else here? Does everybody else have a scientific calculator, I guess? I should have done a poll about what kind of calculator you got, but too bad for me.
I do, but it's dead. I don't have any batteries.
Aw, poor little thing. All right, just to show you, on a graphing, oh shit, what did I just do? Okay. On a graphing calculator, the button is right there. That's your to the button. So I would do 5,000 times 1.05 to the fourth power. in a scientific calculator. Now, wait a minute. I think my computer calculator should probably look like, is that cool if you have a calculator like this, graphing calculator? I think my built-in calculator should be a scientific calculator. Let's see. No, well, that sucks. Come here, you silly. Oh, standard, what can I do with it? I never use this dumb thing, so I have no idea. Oh shit, that's not what I wanted to do. Here we go, scientific, beautiful. Can I share this? I have no idea if I could share this little, yeah, I can. All right. Oh, I should have looked here. There's my, can you guys see my little tiny calculator? Oh, our little tiny calculator. So there's my to the button. There's my to the button right there. So I do 5,000.
It's like an XY.
Yeah, times 1.05. Do you see why it's to the? Because it's something to the y power.
Oh, it's like an
Times
XY.
1.05 to the fourth power. Do you see how it even uses the same little caret? Let me do it again. 5,000 times 1.05 to the fourth power. And of course, does anybody notice the important thing to realize here? Did we get the same answer we got before? $6,077.53. Isn't that the same answer? So now I could put it in for 80 years. How would you figure out how much he'd have if you put it in there for 80 years? It would be 5,000 times 1.05 to the 80th power. Somebody do that for me. What is this? 5,000 times 1.05 to the 80th power. Let's see what we got. Ooh, yummy. Look at that shit. Anybody? Anybody? Does everybody understand how to do it? There we go. I got one. Does everybody see how to do it? Look at this stuff.
My tooth is different.
So
I have an X with an arrow to the right and a Y with an arrow to the left together. And then I have an X and a Y with the long line in between it.
Can you hold your calculator up? Hold your calculator up to your camera so I
Okay.
can see what.
Remember I sent you pictures? I sent you pictures of a picture of 3 calculators and you told me either one.
Okay. So
This one
I
right
think
here.
I see it. Yeah. Show me the face again. I think I saw the Y to the X, or do you have an X to the Y? Go up a little bit. Up a bit. There it is. There. Do you see your Y? Yours says Y to the X. It's right next to the tan.
Okay.
Right next to the tanning booth option. Yeah. See how it says Y to the X?
I'll find it right now because I saw it a minute ago.
It's right there. It's right next to the tan.
Okay. Is it here? Okay.
Y
Is
to
it
the
right here?
X.
Right here?
No. So next to the tan, right below off. The button that's right below
Okay.
off.
Right below off. Okay. There we go. Okay.
Y to
Got
the
it.
X.
Thanks.
You have to try to put in there 5,000 times 1.05 Y to the X 80, and make sure you can get that. So after 80 years, there would be $247,807.21. Now, what if I did simple interest for 80 years? If I did simple interest for 80 years, it would be 5,000 times, to figure out the interest would be this. So how much interest would I make? Oh, Jeff. 20,000. Is that 20,000? Yeah. I'll make $20,000 in interest. So I'd end up with $25,000. Is that different? A little bit. Obviously, if you throw the interest on every year and you do it for 80 years, it's going to grow so much faster than if you just throw it in at the end of 80 years. Right? So compounding is much better. It grows much faster. Okay. Oh, wow. It's about time. Okay. Kind of like letting us out. around this time. Okay. So that's this section's excitement level is finances. This is the finance excitement level. I have no idea if any of you guys are totally into finances. If you are, chapter 4 is right up your alley. I think that's plenty. I think the quiz, let me see when I made this active. The quiz might be active now.
Oh, that's due tonight, right? Chapter 3 quiz?
Not tonight. No, tomorrow night.
Tomorrow. Oh,
yeah, so you should be able to access the quiz now. Of course, let me edit where I say quiz 2. That's good, Jeff. So it's going to work exactly like quiz 2 did. There was an issue with a couple people. All right, does this make sense? If you do the quiz and the quiz stops at like 2 p.m., but you submit your work at 8 p.m., is that good? No, you got 6 more hours that I have no idea what could have happened, right? So it's just like if we took a quiz in class and I said, that time's up, turn it in, and then an hour later, somebody brings their quiz up. No. So hopefully, I think most of you guys understood. The minute it's done, you got to immediately scan it and get it turned in, right? If there's more than like 6 minutes or something separating those two, I get a little worried because you got more time than you should have then. That's not fair. Okay. So let me know if you have any questions. Otherwise, you're free to go. Enjoy your weekend as much as possible. I did update the homework sheet. I don't think I put it up there yet because remember we talked about the midterm, changing it to the 20th. So then, I could watch the inauguration because it's all about what's best for me. Hopefully some of you guys also watch it. We'll see.
you're going to post that? You're going to put it up?
Yeah, I just have to put it up.
Okay.
I just finished it this morning, so I just have to put it up. Yeah. So let me do that right now. So let me know if you have any questions. Otherwise, I will see you Monday, and I'll have the quizzes graded by Saturday, probably.
Sounds good. Thank you very much, Professor.
Wait, Monday's a holiday, right?
Monday, is that this Monday's a holiday?
Oh, good point.
Yeah, dude. Holy shit. Oh man, this month is
Professor.
going fast. So real quick, those of you who are still here, maybe I should send an email out because now I'm gonna have somebody come Monday. Monday is Martin Luther King Jr. holiday, so we have an extended weekend, which kicks a lot of ass. If I were you, I would get everything done through chapter 12, so you're ready for that midterm on the 20th. I'm sorry, go ahead. Uh-oh, am I frozen?
No.
Oh, God, okay. Was somebody, I think Nancy's frozen.
No, you're hearing things.
Okay, no, you were just being very still. Somebody asked me a question a second ago, started to, no? Maybe I am hearing things. Maybe it's best if we all just leave. Anybody have any questions? Let me know. Otherwise go away.
All right. Have a good weekend.
Have a good weekend.
Take care, guys. Okay.
Actually,
What's up?
so I guess it's just a bit of like insider advice or whatever, but like it's like I got a little bit behind with the homework. I'm kind of tripping up on some certain parts, and like the homework takes me a long time to do. And it seems like when I start to catch up on like, say, like I just did 3A last night, so I have 3B and 3C to do today. But it seems like once I'm like starting to catch up, we're on to another chapter entirely. Like we passed over 12 and aren't to another chapter entirely. So it's like, what do you like suggest like the course of action with that?
So it's really, so the next important thing that's happening is already happening now, which is the quiz. It's not due till tomorrow night at 11:59 p.m., right? So I would say your immediate concern is chapter 3 homework, because that's what this quiz is. You do as much as chapter 3 homework as you can, and then you do the quiz, right? And then your immediate next concern is chapter 12, because on January 20th is the midterm. And any other homework you haven't done yet that's related to the midterm is your next immediate priority, right? Now, it's just the nature of the beast. This is the way it works during the semester, and now everything's just condensed to hell, right? So I'm hoping, well, we'll see. I really don't think I assigned too much homework. I did assign a decent amount of homework, but like I said, if you start getting really behind, just start doing every other one that I assign and turn that in. And if you do have time later, you can finish it. And if not, it's not going to kill you. The most important thing is practice for the graded assignments, for the graded quizzes and midterm stuff, right? So if you get to a point where like, I feel like I'm too far behind, start doing every other problem. It's still going to give you practice over the ideas, but you'll be able to kind of like get to a point where you've seen everything then, at least, that you need for quizzes and midterms. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Okay. I appreciate it.
I'm still going to say like, finish this shit. What the hell? And you're going to be like, calm down, dude. I'm just doing what I got to do. Right.
You know, it also helps, just take it with you everywhere you go. It's like a baby, like a newborn baby. Like when I go with me, I have a bag, a big pink bag, and I put my math in there because you never know, you know, say my kids don't get out of school on time and I have 10 minutes in the car. And then also it helps when you're there, you had a break, you're outside, you have fresh air. So it makes it easier to take on the work. Last week I went and sat in Starbucks in the parking lot with my coffee, and it helped just to get out and have, you know, a different environment and just some fresh air, you know, because yeah, it can get tiring. Well, I forgot what I was going to ask, but anyway, have a wonderful weekend. Nikki, have a happy birthday.
Oh, she's gone. She's gonna.
She's gone. She's gone to celebrate. Bye-bye, everybody.
Off my fine line between numerator and denominator. All right, guys. If you're out there, I'm out. I'll see you guys.
Okay.
Take it
Appreciate it.
easy.
Bye.
Sure.